pioneers in engineering field. Let it be civil, let it be defense, let it be domestic car production, vehicle productions, and we try to get knowledge from those pioneers to the users. So we carry out a lot of interviews. We did an interview for Rafale. We did one interview for one of the HOD who has almost 7 or 8 patents registered on his name while he was working in a college. So all these guys we try to recommend, we try to connect with them so that mass users will know what is exactly happening with the engineering world. That's one vertical which is called as heroes of engineering. Okay. The second vertical is uh, s- uh, Illinois Engineering Learning Center, which I started once I came back from US. So I was in Tata Johnson Control from day one. That is my GET period or GET days started back in 2005 in Tata Johnson Control. Now you may be knowing that company as Adient. Okay, so how many of you are aware about this company called Adient? I have actually typed in this in chat box. So how many of you know that? Just type in yes if you know what is this Adient. Adient is earlier it was called as Tata Johnson Control. Now it is called, then it changed its name to Johnson Control Automotive Limited. Then now it is actually called as Adient. Okay, it's a big name in seating system. So my expertise lie in seating system and occupant safety. Yes, good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your replies. So it lies in occupant safety, to be very frank. And welcome those who have joined little late. Welcome you all. Very warm evening, good evening to you guys. Make sure you are ready with pen and paper and attend these 90 minutes as a training session. Don't just be distracted by something else. Okay, put your mobile phones on silent mode, or maybe just don't look at it. Just flip it around and put it somewhere else. Make sure you are ready with pen and paper, guys. There are 47 members, so I'm glad you guys showed up. And I really want you guys to immerse yourself into the learning. Okay, so I'm going to put all my efforts to make you understand what is exactly dynamic, explicit dynamic analysis. There are very few people who know it to the core, and I'm proudly one of the first LS Dyna trainer in India, official with official licensing and all the setup. In this pandemic, Arup helped me a lot to bring all the LS Dyna technology in an online world. But we have a training center in Pune, and we are training people in LS Dyna since 2013. So my journey as CAE analyst started back in 2005. I served in Tata Johnson Control in Germany, in US. Then of course, I served in India for longer period of time up to almost 2012. And then I actually went to one company called as Shape Corporation. Okay, NetShape Solutions. They are pioneers in the roll form structures, which are generally called as bumper beams and all other stuff. So I was there as a CAE department head for 1 year, and then I started my own venture, which is this one, which is Eleno Engineering Learning Center. So I focused on training in the first go, and in 2016 we started our engineering services company, and that company is going to finish almost 5 years of its span, and we are catering in Eleno Energy LLP, that's our engineering services division. We are catering to defense and railways for almost 80% of our revenue. Okay, so we are using LS Dyna for defense and railway application. We are using it for blast, we are using it for high speed impact. When I say high speed, I'm not talking about kilometers per hour like 64, 80 kilometers. We are talking about 1 kilometer per second or 2 kilometer per second. That's a huge speed, hypersonic speed, of course. And we are trying to understand what happens to the bunker. We are using civil structure domain for in LS Dyna to solve various problems. All these things are going to come in this session. Okay, subsequent session. So interesting, right? Type in interesting if this sounds interesting. Defense applications, railways application, and of course automotive is a big deal. Type in interesting if this is interesting. And I really want you guys to put your hands on the keyboard. I'm going to make sure you work out your hands on keyboard, and you are writing down. Okay, so it's going to go forward with very important aspects of using LS Dyna and mastering yourself in that and becoming an SMTE, subject matter technical expert. Okay, so you are not supposed to be just another guy using some tool and you end your life as tool operator. That's not what I mean to say. Okay, so if I'm able to survive after 15 years of my professional journey using one product, which is seating system, then you can also do that, because products last long. The tools, software tools, any tools may not last long. Okay, so excavators are present for very long time, but there are many companies who build excavators, right? Seating system is for very long time. There are almost 6 7 8 global brands who manufacture seats. It starts with Adient, then Magna Seating, then there is Lear, then there is Faurecia, then there is CVG. Earlier it was called as Commercial Vehicle Group. Now it is CVG Seating. So it's the same group, but it's CVG. They are specialized in off-highway vehicles. So they are not into any vehicle which is running on road as passenger car. And then you have railway seating, you have bus seating, you have seats for electric vehicles, you have seats for boats, you have seats for aeroplanes. So seating system is the core domain which I worked on. So I'm not saying that you should work on the same domain. I'm just saying that you should be a subject matter technical expert after 3 4 5 6 years down the line. You should not be just operating a tool. You should be focusing on the product. Okay, so write down SMTE, subject matter technical expert. We are going to come down and we are going to discuss in detail what it is, very detailed. Okay, so enough about my introduction. Shall we start our session, guys? So I'll just give you an idea how we are going to cover it up. Good, SMT, yes. So I will just start our session, but I will give you some idea what are we going to cover. So we are going to cover the most important aspect, which is called why CAE. Before that, we are going to cover what is exactly engineering. Okay, so we all are engineers, but I'm still going to cover what is exactly the engineering. Yes, Abhishek, just be patient. I'm starting. Don't worry. It is important to put a context. It is important to introduce myself because we are meeting first time. Am I right, guys? Okay, so that's why I just took 5 minutes of time and people are joining in. We will see still people are joining in. So I just don't want to miss important topics for those guys who are joining little late. Okay. Yes, so Ritesh, good question. We'll come to that. Okay, ask me this question again at the end of our session. I will be happy to answer you. Don't worry. Okay, so we are going to talk about the aspect which is why CAE. Before that, we are going to discuss what is engineering. And we will be also discussing a pain area for all mechanical and civil engineers, which is nothing but how to progress in career. What is the progress path? How I am going to survive? What are the various things which are essentially needed, inherently needed inside me or to be built inside me as skills and to acquire some knowledge. So knowledge and skill are two different things, but they go hand in hand. If you are very much skilled in one domain, then it may be a rewarding job, but you are going to do a repeat activity. If you are knowledgeable in one domain, you may be able to relate that with what I talked about seating system. It is used in railways, it is used in defense, it is used in aeroplanes, it is used in automotive, it is used in off-highway vehicle. So one product actually can cater to many different domains, and that knowledge can take you to end of your what I can say SMTE career or progress in SMTE career. Okay, so that is one aspect. The other aspect is what is exactly digital twin. So we are going to learn what is a digital twin. Later, we are also going to see what is the difference between dynamic load and a static load. What exactly is a dynamic load? How are you going to categorize it? How are you going to check whether it is a dynamic load or a static load? And then we are going to talk about what is it that we are going to cover from session 2, session 3 till session 20. Okay, so there are going to be 20 sessions for LS Dyna which are planned out for a month, 1 month. So we are doing this. This is a batch 7. Okay, just to give you an idea, we started our online training. So batch 7 is not LNO's batch 7; it is online batch number 7. We started in March, and then every month we are doing one training program. That's all. So we don't have any access in between. We are doing every month one training program. Okay? So guys, I hope you are ready. Type in bring it on, BIO. So I will just start sharing my screen and we will jump into the simulation. Excited? Type in excited if you are excited. Okay, so let's go ahead, guys, and it's our first session, which is 1st of October, and let's talk about what is exactly engineering. You have to take a lot of notes. So, just to give you a simple idea, I have put 3 images in front of you. The most important aspect here is you are not a researcher. That is what a message I really want to convey. Okay, the message I want to convey is we as engineers are not researchers. Okay, so let's take step by step understanding what are we as engineers are going to do or doing in a regular time, but we subconsciously do it and we just forget who we are. Okay, so what is a research? Research is an endless activity till you get a till you get a result. Am I right? So you just keep on researching and it's an endless activity unless you get a result, till you get a result. Fine. And here you already have decided what is going to be the timeline. So for example, I just went live on LinkedIn a couple of hours back and I was standing near metro poles. Metro is getting constructed in Pune, and the metro poles are supposed to be finished in a timeline. They cannot just go endlessly for 10 years, 20 years, right? It always has a timeline and it always has a cost associated with it. Research, maybe there is a cost involved, maybe the cost has no limit, maybe cost has a limit. So like US is doing a lot of research in fundamental studies and then they are getting a lot of output out of it for defense, for aerospace applications, and then they are progressing, taking over the world, right? And what is exactly engineer? He or she is actually just a bridge between what the end consumer needs and what is happening in the research, okay, within a timeline and within a given cost. So if I'm researching electromagnetism and if end product is getting converted into a table fan, that is something which is called as an engineering activity. So you should not have any engineering degree. That's just new days. Okay, so it is like, yes, Manish, that is right. So it is a trade-off between cost and time, but sometimes you have a timeline and you also have sufficient amount of cost put in, and then your engineering project goes very, very well. Okay, so that is what is engineering. I just want to refresh you guys. That's all. Nothing to stress about. But engineer is always constrained. This is an important word. You always have a constraint for time and cost. Is it making sense? Okay, type in make sense if it is making sense and make sure you are writing down some notes. Okay, so is it making sense? Yes, correct. So you all understand that engineering is always going to be a bridge between end user or end product and a research. So never ever involve yourself into a research activity. If you keep on involving yourself in a research activity, the end product will never come out. That's a researcher's job. That's some fundamental job. So you can progress with master's degree, PhDs, and then do the research, but then your path changes from an engineer to a researcher. Even if your basic degrees are engineering, your path changes. Okay, making sense? Thanks, guys. Thanks for reply. So let's move forward. What is exactly career in mechanical design? So we are supposed to understand what is exactly CAE. Before that, we should understand how a product life cycle goes on. And for that, I have just put few images. You can actually see them. So first important aspect is listening. Okay, so any engineer, if he or she is a design guy, design means CA as well. Okay, so if engineer is a design guy, then listening is an important skill. So what is listening? By definition, listening and hearing are two different things, guys. Okay, for that matter. So what is listening? Listening is actively asking questions at right time. If you are listening, you are going to actively ask questions. If you are not listening, you are not going to ask questions. You are just going to hear and then it's all going to be drained out. Okay, so that's something which we don't want. Now the next part is going to be, you have to listen to the customer's problem and get back to researcher. Okay, what I mean by researcher, it is nothing but checking the paper, literature survey, we call it as literature survey. Am I right, guys? Can you relate it? What is a literature survey? We just go through what has happened in the world when we have started working on this particular problem. So for example, I want to go and create a drone for some pesticides for agricultural purpose. Then I may go and check for what are the various researches have happened, what's the height of the drone to be, at what height it should make sure there are going to be pesticides fired and all these things. That's going to be a literature survey. Okay, the next important part is always going to be planning. If you don't plan, it's all going to be a mess. Planning is half done, we all know that, but planning is important. So how, what are the things you are going to plan? You are going to plan cost and you are going to plan time. How much time you have, how many resources you have to put in. So resource is important aspect. How many trucks I need, how many how many machines I need, how many licenses I need for CATIA, how many licenses I need for ANSYS, how many licenses I need for LSDyna. All these things are supposed to be coming into the planning part. Okay. The next part is a combination of two things. One is speed. Engineering always loves speed. All engineers love speed. And team. We are not Raja Ravi Verma. We are not artists. We are actually team players as soon as we enter into the engineering field. So without team, nobody can work in. Okay. So make sure you are working at a speed and you are working in a team. So both go hand in hand. You can only work in speed if you have a team, and vice versa. If you have a team, you are supposed to work in a speed. Otherwise, team will get bored and they will just go away from your organization. Okay. You have to showcase, that is the most important part, which is presentation. Whatever work you have done, you have to constantly keep your customer in loop. Otherwise it's just going to be a mess at the end, because they expected something else and you built something else, and at the end you showed off what you did, and then it's going to be a wrong signal. You may not earn anything. So customer will be happy after finishing of the project, and of course engineer will be happy. Clear, guys? So this is a rough cycle, but this applies to CAE, this applies to CAD, this applies to product development, this applies to everyone. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'll tell you. I'm going to give you 30 seconds and make sure you are actually creating this block diagram in your notebook, and just type in done once you are done writing. Okay. So your 30 seconds starts now. Make sure you're writing. It's a muscle memory. It's an exercise which everyone must do. You should write down. If you write it down, you will remember it for very long time. Okay. So just create a block diagram, write down important things, write down important aspect of listening. Listening and hearing are two different things. Listening in, you are supposed to ask relevant question at correct point. Okay. Or correct time. Planning is important. Literature survey is important. Speed and teams is something we are supposed to discuss about. And of course, this is showcase or presentation, which is important. Okay, good. Mayur, thanks. Malappa, Suraj, Siddesh, thank you very much, guys. So another 15 seconds and we are going to finish it off. 10 seconds to go, guys. Good. Most of you have already started wrapping up. Start wrapping up and let's move forward. Time is important. We are supposed to finish lot many things now. Okay. So let's move forward. Thanks, Lynn. Okay. So now we understood how is the design cycle. Now let's come little macro. Let's come little up. Imagine you are sitting somewhere and you are getting lifted up. Okay, and you are actually doing a bird's eye view. So imagine you were in a department, you understood what is a department. Now come out of that department. So imagine you are in an operations or R&D department, and now you have come out of that. You are looking at the organization. You may think, what the hell this is? Why, as a CA engineer, I should know it? Don't you want to become a CEO of a company or an owner of a company sometime later, right? I also started as a humble GET, and after 8-10 years of knowledge gaining and connection building, I started my own organization. That's always going to happen with a mindset who is continuously evolving. Okay, so make sure you are understanding what is an organization. It's just 2 minutes discussion, but very, very, very important. Okay, so what is an organization? Organization has two types of functions. The first is front end function, which can be seen by customer. Okay, the front end function is something which can be seen by customer. Back end function is something which is not visible to customer. Okay, now what is going to happen? The front end function will start with marketing, sales, and operation. Now I have made three boxes green. That means a design engineer or a design aspirant can go into a sales department, which is highest rewarding department in entire world. Okay, there is no reward bigger than sales guy. Those who are selling like samurai, those who are selling like hell, they gain. Who was Steve Jobs? He was a sales guy. He was the richest person sometime, right? So sales is the most rewarding department. Okay, then you have operations where you actually operate. You do meshing, you do CAD generation, you do some connectivity, you do some assembly, regular assembly, bolting, welding. All these things are going to come in operation. And then there is R&D. So for example, if I'm a seating system engineer, now imagine uh, there are autonomous vehicles coming up. How many of you know autonomous vehicle? Type in autonomous if you know what is an autonomous vehicle. All of you should be knowing it, right? So what is an autonomous vehicle? Just type in autonomous, autonomous, A. That's sufficient. Don't waste too much time in typing completely. So self-driving, correct? Autonomous. So it can park itself, it can check the lanes, it can stop itself, it can check with the camera, LiDAR, and all these things. That is nothing but an autonomous vehicle. Now, when the vehicles are going to be autonomous, the seating system arrangement is going to change. Okay, so just 1 second, guys. I'm just going to disable the annotations. It's my bad, but I will just disable the annotations. Okay, fine. So it happens with the mobile phone typically. Yes. So what is going to happen with regards to organization or sorry, the autonomous vehicles? There are going to be the seats which may swivel around, because then you don't have to drive. Maybe in 10 years, 12 years, 15 years down the line, you don't have to drive. And once you put in autonomy, you can swivel your seat. Now, what is going to happen? That function does not exist right now. But if seating system companies are preparing their organization for autonomous vehicles, then that will be called as R&D. The regular operations are going on anyway. Regular operation is going on. There will be seats for SUVs. There will be seats for passenger vehicles which are multi-purpose carriers or multi-people carrier, MPVs. All these things are going on. Okay, so HR, you all know, human resources department. Finance, you all know, it is all going to be in background. And there is one more important department, which is management and strategies. Okay, so this department is seventh department. Okay, now why I'm telling you this? Where do you see yourself after 5, 6, 10, 15 years down the line? People start their businesses at 15 years, 20 years, doesn't matter. So why are we discussing this? If you are an operations guy, if you are an R&D guy, that does not mean you should not know what is sales, you should not know what is finance, you should not know what is HR and marketing. Reason being, it's all going to be cross-functional teams to grow the organization. You are going to be a part of an organization. It can be Tata Johnson Control, it can be Lear, it can be anything, but you are supposed to be a part of an organization. So is this making sense, guys? So again, I'll give you 15 seconds. Just chart this down. Chart this down so that you are going to get it. Okay. So type in done once you are done writing this down. Done, 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 done. Okay, good. Let's move forward. Now we are doing macro understanding of the important subject, which is CAE, digital twin, and all these things. So let's move forward with a simple topic, which is called as product engineering. Oh, I'm sorry, not digital twin. Yeah, product engineer and application engineer. Okay, so I have put application engineer as red because that's not the way moving forward. That's how you should not move forward. That's the thing. Okay, so the future lies with product engineer. Future lies with who can operate tool, but who knows better than tool the product, who knows product in the most detailed way, materials, geometries, manufacturing methods, all these things. Okay, and he can be CAD guy, he can be CA guy, doesn't matter. You are supposed to be a product guy. Are you getting my point, guys? What I'm differentiating? There are institutes, there are companies who are misleading engineers to take up course on tool, and essentially you are going to become a tool operator. That's not what we are intending to do. Since 2013 I'm explaining to everyone that product engineering is important, not the tool operation. Tools are going to come and go down. Ideas was there, then it was taken over by Unigraphics, that is Siemens, then somebody else is going to take over it. It doesn't matter which tool you use, it's important which product you choose. So what is a product engineer? You have to first select a domain. So as I said, you can have now for sure I didn't selected myself domain which is seating system. For sure I was not that smart. uh, I got into Tata Johnson Control because my basics of engineering was good. The placement happened in campus, and back in 2005, still people were getting good jobs as soon as they finished their graduation. Okay, so I'm not a postgraduate guy, but I have a sufficient amount of work experience in seating system. So what I mean to say, you are supposed to choose your domain. You can choose one or two domains. So keep in mind that, okay, whatever job I'm going to get, I should get it in this particular domain. It can be categorized as I said, automotive can be one domain, then defense can be another domain, then there can be a domain which is railways, aerospace, farm equipment, and these are, who decides the domain? The domain has to be decided by user or you are supposed to decide the domain. Okay, and for that what are you supposed to do? You can do some short-term internships, you can do some industrial visits, understand on YouTube what exactly each domain means, what are the various things which you can do in that particular domain. That will become, or that will make you a product engineer rather than a tool operator. So I know ANSA, I know Hypermesh very well, but I'm no good in seating system, I'm no good in gearbox drivetrain. That is going to kill your own self as far as career is concerned. So there are people who are 6 years, 7 years, 10 years experience, they are having extensive knowledge of tools, but they are not product engineers and they are going to die. So I'll give you a classic example. Okay, hope you will relate that example easily. We had a student called whose name was Nilesh Karad. Okay, you can just go and search on this thing, LinkedIn. Okay, Nilesh Karad. He's working in Nissan, Renault Nissan, in Chennai. Okay, recently I met him. Now uh, he actually worked on Abacus first. Then he joined LNO. Then he worked on LS Dyna for some time. Okay, his company sponsored that training. Okay, it was not an individual training, his company sponsored that training. So he worked on LS Dyna. But now, because Renault Nissan is 100% working using Pamcrash, even if he was aware about LS Dyna and not aware about Pamcrash, he was taken and recruited as a senior lead engineer for vehicle architecture. So are you relating this? Tools are not important for organizations. They know that you will be able to learn tools. You are smart enough to learn tools, whatever comes in your way. So there are always going to be the cases where you are learning a domain. So what he learned at Eleno, he learned vehicle crash in detail. He learned what is exactly happening in crash. He learned physics. So tools, it can be PAMCrash, it can be Abacus Explicit, it can be Radios, it can be LS-DYNA, doesn't matter. So for me, LS-DYNA is one of the best choice. Okay, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to work on LS-DYNA. If LS-DYNA fails to deliver me the results, I may switch to another tool. Are you getting my point? So I'm not advocating a tool here. I'm advocating a product engineering, and the word is SMTE, subject matter technical expert. Guys, are you learning something? Are you able to rewire yourself? Are you understanding what is happening? What is it that is causing you not to get inside the job domain? Okay, so just type in agree if you agree with this particular aspect of product engineering and application engineering. Okay, type in agree if you agree with this. Correct. So make sure you are completely focused on product, whatever you like. Okay, so there are going to be too many products available which are continuously growing. Okay, even if you are working from home, the chairs are there. The furniture industry is booming. There are regulations for furniture industry. Okay, then you can go for material sciences and search for if the furniture industry is using steel, why it is not using composites, because it will be easy to transport and all these things. Okay, but then you can research that why it is needed. It's a stationary application. The furniture is a stationary part, and workability of a steel is pretty easy. You can abundantly get steel. Then why to switch? Just make it better looking and just make it what you can say less weight by using basics of engineering application. Okay, so product engineer is always going to be relating itself to field data and product data, and tool engineer is always going to look at the tools. So tools are not important. We have a course for LS Prepost, which is a free tool for everyone. Everyone can download it and use it. We have a course for that. Why I'm teaching LS Prepost? Because it's a free tool. Nobody is going to take access of that tool away from you, and because it is free, you don't have to get into all the licensing part and make use of available resources. That's what engineers do. Okay, so making use of available resources is important. Clear? Okay, good. So let's move forward, guys, with this thing. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. My slides visible, right? The screen is visible, correct? Just double checking. Yes. Okay. So let's understand what is a digital twin. Before we come to digital twin, let's move forward and understand what exactly is. So we'll come back to digital twin. What are the types of manufacturing methods? Okay. What are the types of manufacturing methods? That is something which we are going to understand today. So comparison points are pretty simple. Just gaze into this slide. Uh, Guys, I'm going to share this presentation with you as a Google Drive presentation. Don't worry, don't take any pictures. This is shareable. No information is something which is too complex or too confidential. You can just get the complete hands on this once we finish this session. So just make sure you are attending it to the fullest of your extent. Fine. So comparison points are cost per piece, size of production, customization, use of special purpose machine. So SPM is special purpose machine. So I'm here. Okay. So the first four parts are done: capital investment and labor requirements. And based on these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 aspects, there can be some more, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 aspects, we are understanding what is a mass production, what is a batch production, what is a job order production. So if you imagine you are a 2-year experience CAE guy working on engines, working on transmission, and somebody asks you, if I want to create a transmission for, let's say, a supercar, which is exotic, which can be in numbers of 100 or 199, a limited production Ferrari, how will you categorize that particular gearbox or transfer case into mass production, batch production, and job order production? What will be the answer, guys? Got my question correct? Is it a batch production? Yes. So Suraj, it is a batch production, right? So what do you mean by this? You have a limited production cycle. You have a limited production numbers, less than 10,000 a month. Typical. Okay, so it will change. So imagine you have a Bugatti. It's not going to be a mass-produced car like Tata Nexon, right? It's going to be a limited run production. Or you have watches. They are actually pretty critical to manufacture the mechanical watches. So mass production, batch production, and job order production, right? Now the task is you don't write all the things. I want you guys to write only the comparison points. This is very, very important to become a product engineer. If you want to become a product engineer, you should know what is a manufacturing process. Okay, so just write down these 4 or 5 points in your notebook and try to populate it after the session is over. Anyway, this will be with you, don't worry. But I want you guys to stretch your brain. And I'm really excited to share with you guys that if you are aware about something which is related to production, something which is related to design, and you're applying for a CAE analyst position, your chances of getting placed are going to be higher for sure. Okay, so just write down this and type in done. Then we will move forward. It's general knowledge. It's all what we learned in our engineering. It's nothing rocket science. Just write down these 6 points and type in done. Okay. Yes, good. Thanks, Anil. Thanks, Suraj. Thanks, Manish. Okay, so guys, start wrapping up. 5 seconds to go and stop. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move to the next point. The next point is we understood what are the types of manufacturing methods. Now we will try to understand this definition, which is very critical. What is a model and what is a prototype? So I will just write down definition for a prototype. A prototype is 1:1 working model. Okay, and what do you mean by this? A model, you can scale it, scale up or scale down, and it may or may not work. Okay, so clear with this definition? What do you mean by this? So if I just show you the picture, it will be 100% clear to you. This is a model because it is never going to work. It's just a concept vehicle. And this is a prototype, which is a scaled, which is a 1:1 scaled working model. Okay, this may or may not work. It may not be having an engine. It's just having wheels. It may be clay model even. Okay, so that is something which is called as a model. It's 1:1, but it's not able to work. Whereas this is a prototype, which you can see often on roads with camouflage with some clothing on it, and that vehicle is a prototype because it is always 1:1 and it always works. So if I give you an example of, let's say, Boeing company or Airbus or Rafale, that's it, the sort. So if they're testing their aircrafts inside wind tunnel, are they testing models or are they testing prototypes? A question to you guys. Are they testing model or are they testing prototype based on this definition? Okay, so Manish says prototype. In wind tunnel, do they take 1:1 scale? Are they going to build a 1:1 stuff, guys? Those who are answering as prototype? It's not going to be 1:1. It's always going to be a scaled version. And can that particular model fly? No, it cannot fly. It's just a outer body replica of the actual material. So I gave you, Pratik, I gave you an example. I gave you an example of wind tunnel testing of Boeing or Rafale, that is Dassault or Airbus. where they are going to test their particular aircraft inside the wind tunnel. Have you seen wind tunnel which can fit a Boeing 747 or for that matter Airbus 320? No, it's impossible, right? You are never going to do that. That means you are always testing using models. Okay. So this is something which you are supposed to write down. So write down this definition, guys, quickly. What is a prototype? 1:1 working model is a prototype, and models can be scaled up or scaled down, and they may or may not work. Okay, so for example, you have a scaled model which is an RC model, radio controlled model of an aircraft or a vehicle that works, that flies. But is it 1:1? No. Then it is not a prototype. Then it is still a model. Even if it flies, it is still a model. Clear? Okay. Scaled up model, you have you may go for scaled up model. Guys, can you help me out? What can be the scaled up model? If model is working, it's a prototype, but it also has to have 1:1 scale. Okay, what can be a scaled up model? Yeah, yes, I will give you a very good example of a scaled up model. If you go and visit any of the mechanical watch company, let it be Omega or Seiko, those guys actually build their wrist watches to the largest scale possible that can fit in a room, and then they build their mechanism and then they get it down. So it's not 1:1, but it is working. So it is not 1:1, but it is working. So it's a model. It's a real example. So go on YouTube and just check it. Yes, bearings is another example, but very small bearings maybe. Testing is never done on models. Testing is done on prototypes. Okay, so if you are looking for testing, it will be done on prototyping. Okay, some tennis racket I have seen manufacturing that makes scaled up models. Yes, that is possible. Correct. That's a good example, Mohammed. Yes. Okay, so are you guys learning something? Type in learning if you are learning something. L. Just type in L if you are learning something. Learning, right? Just focus, guys. Just focus. It's not hard. If somebody else can do it, you can also do it. Somebody else is using LS Dyna like a pro, you can also use LS Dyna like a pro. You need a coach for that, and that's why I'm here. Okay, so learning, right? Good. Thanks a lot, guys. Okay, so now let's come down to a question: why we need CAE once we have understood what is exactly model and a prototype. So what is CAE, guys? CAE is, as you all know, it is computer aided. Okay, so the computers are not solving problems. Computers are not giving you solutions. Computers are giving you the direction, whether your solution, whatever you have thought of, is going in the right direction or not. Okay, so don't imagine that computers are solving everything. Wait a second. Slides not visible. Is it visible now? Computer aided engineering. I have written it. Visible, right? Yeah, okay. So somebody messaged me that it's not visible. Fine. So computer aided engineering, yes, rightly said. If you have given wrong inputs, if there are wrong inputs in CAE, then there are always going to be wrong outputs in from CAE. So it's garbage in, garbage out, right? User has to put his brain and make sure you are getting correct outputs with respect to the inputs you have given. Fine. So why we need CAE? The first important aspect is prototype. So let me give you an example of a vehicle, a small car. Let's imagine a small car like Tata Tiago. How many of you know Tata Tiago? It's the smallest car Tata manufactures. So you have Tata Tiago vehicle, which may be like, let me use another page, guys. Okay, so let me add a page here. I'm just adding a page, guys. Wait a second. Yeah, okay. I've added a few pages, extra pages. Yes. Is my screen visible? No. Yes. So we have small car, which is a Tata Tiago, visible, right? Now I think it will be visible. I'm sorry, I'm making you a lot of questions or asking a lot of questions. Fine. So the prototype cost for a Tata Tiago, which may range from some 5.5 lakh to let's say 7 lakh rupees. That's the cost bracket, which is a mass produced bracket. Okay. The prototype cost will be much higher. Okay. One prototype will cost almost 10x to 12x that of the production cost. Okay. Because one proto is nothing but a cut and weld process. One proto is what? It is a cut and weld process. That means you don't have final tools, you don't have tools which are having huge dies, because that's going to be another cost. So what do? You do cut and weld. You may do some hand, you may be using somebody some else car's part, and all these things are happening, and this is something which is going to be a cost for proto. Okay. And this cost, if you just consider 40 prototypes for physical testing, okay, physical testing, and that I'm talking about certification. I'm not talking about evaluation. I'm talking about certification. So these 40 cars are going to go to ARAI. These 40 cars may go to ECE. These 40 cars may go to ICAT, and they are going to get tested. Sometimes it will be rollover, frontal impact, rear impact, side crash. All these things are going to happen on a prototype for a certification test. Fine. That means you don't have an exemption there. You have to manufacture 40 prototypes. But imagine you don't have CAE with you, and you may end up manufacturing 100 more, because you don't know what's going to happen unless you test it. So if you are manufacturing some 140 prototypes, and now you can see the scale of 70 lakh rupees per piece per prototype, it's going to be an exuberant cost. So why we need CAE? We need CAE for only one purpose. Whatever anyone tells you, there is no other answer. The one purpose of CAE is to save physical prototype cost. Write it down. Okay. To save physical prototype cost. That means tests are inevitable. There is no replacement for tests. Physical tests are inevitable. You are supposed to make sure you are doing test. Okay. But you are going to reduce number of prototypes. Instead of 140, you may need 80 prototypes. It's a significant saving for a company, because prototype needs building up. You have to build a proto also. Okay. And that takes time, that takes cost. Are you getting my point? So the answer to the question why we need CAE is, we need CAE to build or to save prototype cost, and that too a physical prototype cost. So how are we doing it? We are doing it by virtual prototype method. We are doing it by virtual prototype method, which is also called as computer aided engineering. Okay. So type in CAE if you have understood why we need CAE. Okay. So Suraj, that is right, cost reduction. But how you are reducing the cost? The cost is reduced by making lesser physical prototypes. Cost is reduced by making lesser prototypes. Type in CAE if you have understood why we need CAE. Interesting, right? So something which may twist your mind, something which will lead you to thinking, something which will make you a better engineer to think about. Otherwise, sometimes it will happen that, okay, it's a simple part. The prototype cost itself is way less than the CAE cost. Then why to go for CAE? Just build a proto and test it. Because ultimately, product is important, not the tool. Whether you have used LS-DYNA or ANSYS or Abacus doesn't matter. Whether your product works or not is something which is bothering the organization. Clear? Okay. So good. Shall we move on? Type in move on, MO. Type in move on, so I will know you guys are completely in zone right now. Okay. So we understood what is a prototype, what is a model. We understood why we need CAE. Now, We also understood what are the types of manufacturing methods. Now let's get back to what is a digital twin. So these slides got misplaced, I'm sorry, but this is something which is important. A digital twin can be of a process. So let's imagine you are going to set up a plant for Amul, for milk production or for milk processing. It's a process, it's not a direct product one by one. Okay, it's a process of getting the milk and all these things that can be simulated inside a digital environment, which is called as a digital twin. You can do a digital twin of a living thing, which we are going to see as a picture, which is a crash test dummy. It's a living thing, but we have converted into a digital twin. It can be of a product, it can be of a place. So product, of course, it can be a vehicle, it can be a railway, it can be a bomb, it can be a missile, anything it can be. And a place, so for example, if let's say uh, you are building a autonomous vehicle for a city, specific to a city, a taxi park, and you have built a digital city, okay, where you want to do the autonomous vehicle test, and that can be a Singapore, okay, that can be Pune, that can be Chennai, that can be Bangalore, that can be Delhi, that can be Mumbai, anything. You can build a digital twin either of a process or of a living thing or of a product or of a place. Fine. And this is a physical product. This is actually a twin of a living thing. Okay. So this is actually a twin of a living thing. It has all the stiffnesses mapped, tissue stiffness map, bone stiffness map, muscle stiffness map, skin stiffness mapped. All these things are mapped, and it's a twin of a. It's not a digital twin. It's a twin of a living thing, and then you have a digital twin, which is a CAE dummy. Are you getting it? What is a digital twin? Okay, so type in DT if you understood what is a digital twin. Otherwise, ask me questions. Very simple. It is all related to CAE for us. Okay, sometimes if it is ADAS or sometimes it is control system, it is always going to be important for those guys to understand. Okay, DT. If you have understood digital twin, write it down. Okay, take it down in 30 seconds. What is a digital twin? So what is, yes, Projot, I will repeat. Just in 30 seconds, I will repeat till the guys are writing it down. What is a digital twin? Digital twin is a digital representation either of a process or of a living thing or of a product or of a place. Okay, it can be anything. And it's all going to be digitally possible to either see or evaluate or present or feel. You can digitally feel it, you can digitally understand it, you can digitally check the results. That's what a digital twin is. And do we model the twin or we have standard dummies? See, we are Rushikesh, the question here is, we are going to have a physical product. So good question. You are going to have a physical product which is on the left side. Okay, this is a physical product. It is a twin of a living thing, twin of us, 50th percentile dummy, 95th percentile dummy, all these things. So this is a twin, not a digital twin, but a physical twin of a living thing, and you are going to convert it into a digital twin. So your question is, do we model the twin or do we have standard dummies? Now they are correlated. So the answer to this question is, those companies who manufacture physical dummies, like uh, you have a humanoid or you have humanetics, that's a company which manufactures dummies, or you have FTS dummies. All these dummies are manufactured, and those are the same companies who build the digital dummies. Are you getting my point? So basically they are correlated. They are correlated dummies. They are proven dummies, even if in a digital environment. So they can be available for Radios, they can be available for Dyna, they can be available for Abacus, and they can be available for Pamcrash. But who are building those dummies? The companies who are building dummies are building the digital models. Making sense, Rishikesh? Kind of, Manish. It needs biomechanics because you have to understand stiffnesses of everything. different stand. Yes, yes, that has to be decided by the organization or the car company who is going to actually test it in the different environments. Is it EC? Is it FMVSS? Is it AIS? Is it JIS? Is it Australian regulation ADR, or is it Chinese regulation? All these things are to be tested or understood. Fine. Okay, so we understood what is digital twin. We understood what are the various manufacturing methods. I'm just taking a recap. We understood what is why we need CAE. We understood what is the difference between model and a prototype. Models can be scaled. Prototype are always 1:1. Why we need CAE? We understood using a prototype example, and we understood what is a virtual prototyping, which is nothing but CAE. Okay. So, guys, we are coming to the last point of understanding what are the various types of designs. Okay, what are the various types of designs? So, I have written three things here: SS, DS, and DD. So, what it is? It is a static load, static design. Then we have DS, which is dynamic load and static design. Okay, so the design principle is static. Load can be static, load can be dynamic. And then we have dynamic load, dynamic design. Okay, now before we go in detail to this, what exactly is a dynamic load? So by definition, what is a dynamic load, guys? If I'm just writing it down, you also take it down. It's going to be a lifelong lesson to you. If load changes, its magnitude and or direction with respect to time, then it will be called as a dynamic load. Is it true? Type in true if it is true. If you understand it, if you just think about it, if load changes its magnitude and or direction. So this is very, very crucial. This is very, very crucial, and this is very, very crucial. Okay. So if you have, correct. So it's not about short time. Okay. If load changes its magnitude and or direction with respect to time, so it can change direction, it can change just the magnitude, or it can change both. Still it will be called as a dynamic load. So I'll give you a simple example, and then we will go to the static load, static design, dynamic load, static design, and dynamic load, dynamic design part. So imagine you have a pulley. Okay, you have shaft and a pulley arrangement. Okay, and shaft is rotating at some RPM omega. Okay, it's a constant RPM, some rotational velocity. So let's take a number that will be easy. So 300 RPM it is rotating, and it is in a bearing. The shaft is supported with a bearing. So if shaft is supported in a bearing, what type of support it is? Shaft is a beam. What type of support is it? Is it fixed support, or is it a simply support? Is it a roller support? Is it? It is simply support. Is it? For simply supported beam, bending moment at supports is zero. Why you need a bearing for that? It's a fixed support, guys. It's a fixed support. You have to, yes, it's a fixed end, correct? It's a fixed support. You don't have, you have full resistance to bending at bearings. Am I right? And then you have mass of this uh, pulley, which is, let's imagine, 300 kilogram. Okay, and if this pulley is exactly at a center rotating at 300 rpm constant, and it is 100% balanced, there is no imbalance to the pulley, is it a static load or is it a dynamic load? Is load changing its magnitude with and direction with respect to time or not? Is it a static load or is this a dynamic load? You got my question, right? There is no eccentricity, and even if there is an eccentricity, doesn't matter. It's at exactly at the center. Is it a static load or is it a dynamic load, guys? Suraj says static, Nagraj said dynamic. uh, so pulley is 100% balanced. Rushikesh says dynamic. It's rotating at constant rpm of 300, no load at all. Is it a dynamic load? Is load changing with respect to time, guys? No, the magnitude is not changing, the direction is not changing. It's a pure static load. It's a pure static load because you have mass, you have a perfectly balanced shaft, you have perfectly balanced pulley. You are rotating or not rotating doesn't matter. You don't have any load on the pulley, it's just rotating freely. The load coming on the bearing will be exactly same even if it is rotating or not rotating. Is it making sense? It is rotating, but is it changing? The load is changing direction or magnitude with respect to time. No, the download load, and it's not changing its magnitude. It's 300 kilogram multiplied by 9.81. That's the load which is acting. See, at 300 RPM, even if it is going to move up to 300, it doesn't matter. It's still going to be not changing the downward load. It starts from 0 to 300. Load will not vary. How it will vary, Rushikesh? Can you just think about? It's rotating at 1 RPM, 2 RPM, 3 RPM, 4 RPM. Let it reach to 300 RPM. Does it matter? Imagine you have a ceiling fan. What will be the load on the hook if it is perfectly balanced system and you have started rotating at 0? It will not vary. You are not applying, load will not vary. You applied extra, correct? It's not going to vary. It's just going to be the static load. Now the dynamic load case is you have a pulley, same pulley, and you have a eccentric mass m dash and at a radius r, correct? So what is happening? The m dash r omega square is going to be magnitude which is not changing, but direction is continuously going to change. Am I right? So earlier this mass is here, it's going to create a force in this direction, and it is continuously changing. So what is happening? The bearings are experiencing a dynamic load with regards to change in direction. Okay, change in direction, and that is something which is called as m dash r omega square, which is a dynamic load. Is it making sense, guys? Now if you just go okay, if you want to check whether I am right or wrong, just go to bearing catalogs and check what is KD, dynamic design factor. Okay, just check. If you are supposed to select a bearing, you will get a KD, dynamic factor, dynamic design factor, and there you will understand what I'm talking. Okay, so even if there are loads which are static, and if they are rotating at a speed which is constant, there is not going to be anything which is a dynamic load. But as soon as there is an introduction of a imbalanced mass, there is going to be a dynamic load getting generated. Okay, so another example, another simple example I'll give you. You are standing in a balcony with your friends. Okay, what is happening? It's a cantilever balcony, and your friends are moving forward, moving backward. There is all sorts of things happening. What is it, guys? This is not a static load, correct? The magnitude is changing, but direction is constant. Am I right? The magnitude of load is continuously changing, but direction remains downward. And that is another example of a dynamic load, correct? So that's a dynamic load condition. Clear up to this point? 100%. Okay, so now let's come back to the final point, which is static load, static design, which we saw. Let's say I'm designing something which is a furniture or a hook for hanging my keys. All these things are static load, static design. What is a dynamic load, static design? Bridges. The load is dynamic, but I design a bridge using static principles. I will do P by A, I will do all sorts of things, and it is all going to be dynamic load. My load is dynamic, but I'm designing it using a static principle. Fine. And then I have dynamic load, dynamic design like blast, crash, drop. I cannot predict. I cannot use empirical relations. I cannot predict what is going to happen. Guys, are you getting this point? Very, very important point for any CAE guy. If you want to make your career in CAE, you should be able to categorize your problem in static load, static design, dynamic load, static design, and dynamic load, dynamic design. Type in design if you have understood what I'm talking about. Type in design if you have understood. Dynamic load, yes, vehicle is, or not all parts of vehicle. Vehicle crash, okay. Vehicle crash is dynamic design is nothing but okay, good question. So guys, just hold on. Static design is what you are using simple principles like P by A is equal to stress. That's a simple principle, right? It may not apply to dynamic load, dynamic design principles. Dynamic design principles will be the motion equation mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx equal to f, and that's going to be even complex if you have 2 3 4 5 10 different parts. Is it making sense? So you have static load, static design, dynamic load, static design, and dynamic load, dynamic design. Yes, so theories of failure and all these things are always going to be there. It is inevitable part. Okay, clear? 100%. Have you understood what it is? Okay, so static load, static design, we saw the example of a bridge and this thing. The last part is what is exactly DVP. Okay, so guys, take a moment, just uh, get back to the discussion. Shubham, you are getting too much into shaft design. Imagine there is no resistance. What I drew here, okay, so let me make it clear to you. What I drew here, it has nothing which is resisting its rotation. Is there anything which is resisting pulley's rotation? No, nothing is resisting, right? So if there is no resistance, will there be anything which is, for imagine your see bearings practically I'm talking about have more than 95% friction reduction. There is almost 1 or 2% friction which is going to be there. Otherwise, why to use bearings? Why I stated that there is going to be a bearing? There are too less of a bearing losses. Otherwise, nobody would have designed a bearing, right? Correct. Practically, I'm not talking about theoretical part. Practical bearing friction is close to zero. Okay, so there is no point in going into these details. What I'm trying to convey is, if you have practical shaft which is rotating at a fixed RPM, it is not going to uh, give bearings a dynamic load. That's what it is. Clear? Okay. So negligible, yes, everyone understands that, and it's practically negligible, even not theoretically negligible. It's practically negligible. You can just go and refer INA bearing or SKF and just refer those manuals for selecting the bearing. You will come to know how many losses are there. Negligible losses for bearings. Okay, good. So let's come to a very important aspect of CAE journey, which is design validation plan. Okay, so DVP is something which you need to decide before you start designing. Before you start designing. So design validation plan is not something which you create once your product is ready. That's a failure in itself. Design validation plan is something which you should think about before you start designing the object. So if I'm designing this digital pen, so you can see my digital pen. If I'm designing this digital pen, it has to be designed for drop test because it is inevitable to get dropped. Correct? I cannot design a pen which is not drop tested and say that, okay, I never considered it, then it's not a good DVP. Is it making sense? So I will always have into my mind what type of test I'm going to carry out before I put this product into the market. Is this clear, guys? Okay. So design validation plan is which you need to decide before you start designing. Okay, which you need to decide before you start designing. Clear? Okay, so just 1 minute. I'm going to recap everything before I go for any further discussion. So let's just recap, guys. We started here and we understood what is engineering. We understood what is career in mechanical design. Okay, team, speed, literature survey, listening skills, all these things we try to understand. And of course, happy engineer, happy customer. We understood what is an organization. We understood what is product engineering, what is application engineering, and why application engineering is dying, demand going down. In pandemic, you must have seen there are too many openings for seat engineer, the transmission guy, but they may refer tools like, you know, ANSA slash hypermesh slash DEP meshwork slash anything. It doesn't matter which tool you are using. We want a guy who is very well versed with the product. Okay, that's what is happening. See on the LinkedIn the posts, see on the LinkedIn or Naukri.com the various things which are coming to you as jobs. Okay, we talked about digital twin later, but we first talked about types of production techniques: mass production, batch production, job order production. And we talked about why we need CAE. Before that, we understood what is the definition of a prototype and a model. Okay. Then we talked about virtual prototyping, which is nothing but CAE. We discussed this thing. We discussed digital twin. And lastly, we discussed 2 points, which is static load, static design, dynamic load, static design, and dynamic load, dynamic design. And then we also talked about definition of a dynamic load using some examples and design validation plan. So I gave you an example of this digital pen, which needs to be drop tested. It has to be tested, or even a mobile phone. You should do a drop testing of this mobile phone. Otherwise, nobody is going to buy your phone if it fails after one drop. Okay, you will just blame that OEM, and you will never buy that phone from that OEM again. Okay, that's important part. And as I said, we talked about digital twin. Okay, so guys, have you learned something? So type in learned L if you have learned something. Helpful, useful. Have you understood what it is? What are we going to do? Yeah. So John, don't go into that discussion, Naukri.com and all. I didn't mean to just put out Naukri. I'm not an agent for Naukri. I'm just putting it out for an example. Okay, don't take me wrong. Yes, learning, right? Okay, so let's understand some examples. DFMEA is designed for failure mode effectivity analysis. So it's more detailed than DVP. DVP is like, what are the tests you can imagine? Okay, so Mohammed, what are the tests you can imagine for a laptop? So there will be a durability test, there will be a drop test. Drop in the sense, not a complete laptop, something else drops on a laptop. So DFMEA will be later part which will be built up on DVP. Are you getting my point? So DFMEA will not be coming first. It's all going to be DVP, design validation plan, which is going to be first, and then you are going to do a micro level stuff, which is DFMEA. Is it clear? Okay, good. How to assume forces for drop test? You are not converting a dynamic load into a static equivalent. Then it will be a completely explicit dynamic analysis, which you are going to learn in session 2, 3, 4, 5 up to session number 20. Okay, so that's a good question. How to assume? You are not supposed to assume anything. Assumptions will kill everyone, customer as well as you. Okay, so don't assume anything. So let's go and check some examples. I gave you an idea of some examples. So let's just take some examples in front of us. So this is LNO. You are going to get a presentation, don't worry. Now this is a very important aspect of CAE, which is automotive world. You can see frontal crashes, interior parts, knee impact test, head impact test, all these things. Okay, that is a very inevitable application for CAE, especially LS Dyna for automotive. Okay, I want to come to some interesting examples which you may not have imagined. Now, this is something which is coming up: pedestrian safety. That means you are crossing a road or a pavement and somebody hits you at a lower speed. What is going to happen to you, not to the car? Because if vehicle absorbs energy, then you are going to be less of an injured person. If you absorb more energy, your bones are going to break. Okay, so the vehicles are designed in such a way they are supposed to absorb maximum energy. So there is going to be a gap between very rigid parts like engine, radiator, and the bumper. Okay, there is going to be a gap specifically for pedestrian safety. This is coming up very quickly in India in Bharat New Vehicle Safety Assessment Program. So just anyone wants to do a project, pedestrian safety will be a good project for their master thesis. Okay, it's going to be very good. So this is my domain, seating system. You can see a dummy without a belt, dummy with a belt, and then you have a seat belt anchorage test, which is a static equivalent of a dynamic frontal impact. And then you have various test modal analysis will be there, rear crash will be there, head restraint performance will be there, luggage retention will be there. All these things will be available to you, okay, or to be tested. This is a bus dynamic, which is bus rollover, which is a very upcoming field. This is a blast analysis for this particular stuff. Okay, I'll just explain it. This is without hull. You can see a difference. There is a green line running here. Okay, there is a green line which is actually a hull. Okay, so this hull, if it is not there, there are damages to no extent where you are going to recover from an injury. But if you put a hull, there are going to be chances that you will still survive. Of course, there will be some injuries because this is not a purpose-built vehicle. This is a vehicle. So I'll tell you an interesting story in two lines. This was given to us as a challenge by VRDE, Vehicle Research Development Establishment in Ahmednagar, which is a defense DRDO lab. And they asked us if we want to convert, if we want to convert a civilian vehicle into a mine protected, mildly a mine protected vehicle, can you do a simulation? And then we just grabbed this model from LS Dyna website free of cost, and then we try to build up on this particular model using SPH elements. Okay, this is another defense application, which is an autonomous vehicle. So this vehicle is having no human being sitting on it. It's an autonomous vehicle. It's a all-terrain amphibious vehicle which can float around in a water, shallow water, and just go on. And this can get crashed on a rigid wall because it cannot see itself. So it may crash. And what should be done to the bumper in event of a crash is you should be able to replace bumper and your vehicle should be intact. That's what the analysis was. Okay. And this is a classic example of dynamic load, dynamic design. So what are you doing? You are getting results out of it and you are designing based on what is the response from the system. Getting my point? So this is a classic example of dynamic load, dynamic design. All these examples. Okay, this is what I was talking about, a penetrator in concrete. In 1 millisecond, it crossed full, what you can say, full 2-meter concrete depth, which was having a tremendous velocity. And this was a concrete without rebar, without any reinforcement. And then we built upon the reinforcement with the help of IIT Delhi. So we have a collaboration with IIT Delhi for their defense applications in civil engineering. Okay? So this is what can be done in LSDyn. So these are all commercial applications. These are all the defense applications. And then you have rigid plate, global stress plot, energy behavior you can give. This is an interesting application which is called as crash rated gate, okay, which has some regulations, PAS 68, IWA, ASTM, all these things are there. And this particular thing is catching up fast. This is for high security areas like you have 5-star hotels, you have some classified areas, you have Rashtrapati Bhavan, you have Prime Minister's office, you have some Vidhan Bhavan, all these things, they can be secured using this because now the terrorists have started using vehicle as a bomb, not actually a bomb, but they will just stampede a lot of people by entering with a huge vehicle. Okay, you must have seen this in some of the other pictures, right? So that is important. Then we have another application which is crash rated ropes or cables. Okay, and that is something which can be done in LSDyn. Interesting it is, right? So this is very, very important. Okay, so Mohammed is asking a question: is pedestrian safety the reason? Bumpers are not plastic; they are essentially made up of steel or maybe energy absorbing material. What you see is called as fascia. That is plastic. That is just for CFD, that is fluid purpose, and for aesthetic purpose. Okay. Have you understood, guys? Type in U if you have understood all things we discussed in this short span. Type in U if you have understood session number 1, because I'm going to come to a very interesting part which is the offering from my side, and what are the various bonuses which I'm going to give you once you join LS Dyna level 1 course. Okay, so that is something which I'm going to explore right now. Okay, so let's get into the details of what are we going to cover. The first part what we covered is why CAE, and we covered little bit different portions like organization structure and all other things. But we are also supposed to cover types of CAE techniques, which is explicit, implicit, quasi-static. In session number 2 it will happen. And nodes and elements, what is node, what is element, what are types of elements, all these things, basics of LS Dyna solver. So I will be teaching you live every day. Okay, every alternate day, to be frank. And then there will be basics of time step, time integration scheme. What is time? How we are integrating it in numerical method? What are the types of numerical methods? What are the materials in LS Dyna? Contact algorithm. What are the new type of contact, old type of contact, penalty based contact, constraint based contact? All these things we are going to trying to cover. Types of materials we are going to understand with rigid, deformable, and all other stuff. Setting up control cards, setting up database cards, reading procedure for LS Dyna manual, how to read LS Dyna manual, model preparation, basics of engineering, model first crush can run we are going to do. So sixth batch is now into the fourth stage, that is like lecture number 17, 18, and they are just finishing it up. So there will be a wheel impact model, there will be an RUPD model, there will be a crane model analysis, there will be a seat model analysis, there will be post processing, and all these things are going to be monitored by me. Okay, so there is no escape for you guys to not learning. This all is going to be ending in 1 month. Okay, it's a 1 calendar month time. We are going to finish all these things by meeting either alternate day or by doing a conversation which is very intuitive. Okay, so that is something which is going to happen, right? And you are going to get next 1 month an access to solve LS Dyna problems, access to solve LS Dyna problems, because I have acquired the software licenses. I'm going to give you a remote access. Okay, I'm going to give you a remote access. You are going to use LS Dyna using my computers because I have licenses with me. You will be doing a remote access. You don't need anything other than a browser. Just need a browser. You don't need a graphic card enabled computer, nothing. You will just need a browser, and after we finish our theory, you are going to get a 1 month access to LS Dyna access. Okay, is it clear? So it's going to be a VPN. It's going to be a custom software which I bought. It is going to be a web-based software where you are going to log in. Okay, I will give you login credentials, everything I will give it. Fine. This is what is a content for what? It's a level 1 course. Okay, in level 2, level 3, if you are interested, I have your email addresses. Don't worry, I will be sending you the complete document which covers level 2, level 3. That's not required if you are a beginner. Okay, don't get into complete levels, level 2, level 3, hypermesh and all these things. I will just go through level 1 first, and then I would suggest you to go to level 2 and level 3. What is there in level 2, level 3? It's all going to be there. Okay, so let's come to the final part, which is how I'm going to charge you guys, or what is the investment for it. So the investment, final investment is 18,999, where you are going to get an LS Prepost lifetime access. Okay, you are going to get an LS Prepost lifetime access, training access. I'm not talking about software access. LS Prepost is free for everyone, but you are going to get an LS Prepost lifetime access here. You are going to get a seating system product training, 15 hours of training it is. Okay, so it is not CAE. This is a product training. This is a 15-hour session series. You can watch it at your own speed, and this is also going to be with you for lifetime. And you are going to get a lifetime access for basics of engineering. Okay, so we will be covering starting from physics, then go to applied mechanics, then go to um, strength of materials, design, dynamics, okay, metallurgy, manufacturing methods, and all other stuff. So you can go to this link, guys. There are preview sessions. This I will be sharing. Don't worry. bit.ly LNO-BOE, Basics of Engineering. These all will be bonus packages to you if you join it in next 48 hours. Okay. So Razorpay allows you to do payments with EMI on credit cards. You can do Razorpay EMI payments, and you can just get it converted to 6 months, 12 months EMI. This is an investment. Okay, this is the essentially an investment you are making, and you will always have LS Dyna, like what you are going to get today, the YouTube access. You are going to get a teachable access for all your videos for lifetime. So there is no time limit for you to access these videos back. So if you are appearing for an interview, you can just go back to any video you wish, and you will always have my support. You will have my WhatsApp group. I never delete a WhatsApp group. Even I'm active on batch 1 WhatsApp group now. I'm training them currently, so I'm giving them some insights. All these things are happening, and you have 48 hours to log in and register on Razorpay. Go there, pay your fees, and you are going to get all these bonuses if you join in next 48 hours. Okay, so this is what my offerings are, and this is something which is very very important for you to learn. And as you have seen, I'm passionate about training, so it's all going to be, yes, automotive seating analysis we are covering, Manish, in level 2 and level 3. Okay, so we are going to do a training every alternate day. Okay, Dinesha, we are going to do training every alternate day. Okay, so pre-post, you will be teaching pre-post live, right, along with level 1. Pre-post will be a teachable session, but when you are coming to level 1, I will be always opening LS pre-post in front of you, and I will be present in front of you to ask any questions. Rushikesh, is it making sense? So I will be essentially teaching you whatever LS pre-post sessions are there. Those are my own sessions. So I will be sending you this. I know basic hypermesh. Can I join? Yes, you can. But level 1, do you know LS Dyna, Manish? So the question is, do you know LS Dyna? Are you aware about LS Dyna? Because we are supposed to learn this. So even if correct, so just go. You are supposed to do level 1 and level 3. Okay, or just level 1 is still sufficient for you. I will not oversell you anything. Level 1 is still sufficient for you guys. Okay, it's a complete course for the civil and mechanical engineers who are beginning. Okay, who are beginning their CAE journey. Okay, so lecture 1 to lecture 20, whatever is there, it will be moderated by me. I will be always there to help you. So we have classes in the evening most of the time, and every day you are going to get a recordings, whatever we are doing. Like today we are recording it. You are going to get recordings of this session, and they will be always available with you. You will be asking questions. I will be answering those, and all these things will be for lifetime. Okay. Seating system, yes. So seating system, Rushikesh, it's a recorded video, but it's very very what you can say, it's done by me only. Crash test we are doing on a small component retest. Good question. We are covering crash course in this thing, in on a small component, not on a large component. So Ashish, level 2 level 3, as I said, I will be emailing you complete list. Oh, okay, so let me open it in front of you guys. It was open. So this is a proposal. Can you see this proposal? So this is a huge 6 pages proposal which I will email you. Okay, don't worry. How many of you want this proposal? It has level 1, level 2. Just type in yes, yes, yes. So I will know. If you want this full proposal till placement assistance, and using the using my facility, if you are in Pune, all prices are same, and nothing change in offline training. nothing, no change in online training. So I will be emailing you the complete proposal. Don't worry. And this is something which will be important for you. Okay, so if you know, let's imagine you know Hypermesh. So what will happen, guys? This 68,999, you are going to get this as minus 11,999 will get minus, and everything else remains same. Okay, so level 2, level 3 things are there. I'll just show you what it is. Are you able to see my screen? No. Wait a second. Yeah, I understood. I was sharing. Yeah. Can you see this? Is it visible now? Okay. So seating system product training will not be free for those who are joining it as just level 2, level 3. Okay. So make sure you are making best use of the offer. Seating system product training will not be free with this. Okay, but if you join this full course, everything will be included. I will put all my things in front of you. Everything will be with you for lifetime. Don't worry, the access will be with you. Nothing is going to go out. Fine. So this is something which I will share with you guys, and this video will be up on YouTube. I will be sending YouTube link as well. This presentation will be with you in the Google Drive, and I will be sending you the payment link as well. For 18,999, you are going to get LS Prepost, seating system, and basics of engineering course for free. Okay, so you are going to get LS Prepost, seating system, and basics of engineering course for free. Okay, any other questions, guys? Any technical question? Forget about fees. Even if you don't join my class, I will be still happy you attended this session. I'm very much thankful you put your time in front of me and attended this session. Okay, have you found this useful? Have you found this insightful? It's useful, right? It was insightful, correct? So even if you don't attend my classes, even if you are not joining in, I will be still happy you attended this session, and very, very thankful to you guys. I'm really interested for those who are going to join in, and I will be happy to assist you and making you SMT, subject matter technical expert. That's my yes, basics of engineering is included in master's program. Master's program is everything, everything with free upgrade. So if I add another program, you are going to get an access to that as well if you are joining the master's program. So if let's imagine I add something which is Hypermesh X, a new version of Hypermesh, you will get an automatic access. Okay, in which the examples for vehicle crash will be covered in level 2 and level 3. Yes, so it's like a crash course where you will see, you should not invest too much of a money without knowing how teaching is going forward. Is it making sense? It should be something which is insightful, awarding, and it should be something which is very, very important for you. But for someone who has experience in Hypermesh, level 1 and level 3 will be a good option. Level 2, anyway, we will try to cover it up, something which is seating system, interior system, and all these things. Is this making sense? Okay, I purposefully broke. Another reason I will tell you. The reason is there are civil engineers who opt for this course. Okay, there are civil engineers who opt for this course, and they don't need Hypermesh knowledge because they can build all their models in LS Prepost. So for them also, I have made this course available because then they can build their own models in LS Prepost. Okay, so yeah, so Bhavesh is asking if we are third year right now. Yes, this is the best time. Don't join after BE. This is the best time because your final year will be amazing. Your final year will be so amazing because you will be knowing much better what exactly you want to do once you pass out from the final year. So Bhavesh, very, very right time. Make sure you're joining in right now because you'll be learning so many things. And colleges are, I don't know how colleges are functioning, and it's not anyone's fault. Okay, so make best use of this, make best use of this course, and you will even get a chance of doing internship with us on any of the defense or railways project if you are very good in the course. Okay, so I'll offer you a paid internship. I'm not committing, but if you are really very good, I will be happy to take you as an intern for maybe 3 months, 6 months, and I will make you work on live project for defense and railways with our Illinois Energy LLP team. Yes, Chidambaram, I have sent you my WhatsApp number. So my number you can find anywhere. Just I'll just send it to everyone. Not a problem. My number is available. Only thing is, if I'm not answering my phone, I will be in a session like this. So put a message, put a WhatsApp message, Telegram message, Facebook message, SMS, anything. I will answer you as soon as I'm available. Okay, because I will be typically busy in training sometime or other in a day's time. Yes, any other questions, guys? It is said that for CA engineer, post MTech candidates are preferred. No, it's not the case. Always it is going to be B/M. Take my word. It is always going to be B/ME because industry needs a skilled guy. Industry needs a guy who knows basics of engineering. ME or MTech guys may or may not be knowing basics of engineering well. Okay, so level 1 is really good for everyone to join. It's a no-brainer. Reason being, I will be there. I, as a resource, as a mentor, as a coach, will be there. So coach is like a headlight for a vehicle in a dark. Okay, you will always need a coach as you make a progress. If you switch off your headlight and just try to ride a bike in a dark road, you are going to fail. So you need a coach for, I also have coaches. I'm going into the coaching programs. I'm going into some LS Dyna coachings. I'm going into business coaching. I'm doing all these things. Okay. Doing MTech will help you to start your career in a research field itself. Research in the sense, technical research I'm talking about. Okay. So it's everyone's choice. Okay. I'm not saying that you should do MTech or you should not do MTech. It's everyone's choice. Depends on the circumstances, depends on various things available, funding available. Are you going to do it here or abroad? All these things are going to be there. Okay. But want to join, so any weekend batch, yeah, the batches are going to be 7:30, to be frank, Shivam. So, and if you are not able to attend, you can watch it in the night, the same day's session. You can watch it in the night and you can join in between and just ask questions. That's not a problem. So there are many professionals in batch number 7. In batch number 7, I'll just give you an example. In batch number 7, there are 80% professionals who are attending at 7:30 every alternate day. Okay, so we are finishing this batch in this week, and we are starting your batch from coming uh, Tuesday. So uh, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday will be the batch for batch A. You cannot, Viresh, good question. You cannot trust on analysis unless you have a correlation. If you are having a correlation, then it is going to be there. So we are starting. Just somebody is asking me a question. Wait a second. What's the date on Tuesday? I'm sorry, guys. So Tuesday is 5th of October. Oh, sorry, 6th of October. Okay, so we are starting our course session number 2 on 6th of October. But payment link is going to close with this offer, with this all free bonuses. It is going to close in next 48 hours. Projects I mentioned here, Ritesh. I think you missed it. That's fine. You can see the projects. Can you see this? The first is going to be crush can. Second is going to be rear underrun protection device. Okay. First is crush can, RUPD, wheel impact, crane analysis, and we are going to do a seating system analysis as well. Seat static load using implicit. That's what we added in this batch. So seat static load analysis in batch number 6 we added. So in 7 we are going to continue. Even for batch 6 there were 6 civil engineers. So we did a civil structure study as well in that particular batch. So if you want anything like you want it to be analyze, you want to analyze something which is composite, I will be happy to assist you. I'm willing to do course, but it will take 5 days. Yeah, that's fine. So if you just commit, put a mail, Rushikesh, I will believe you. I'm not here to do or get your money hunched up. Okay. So just I will believe you. Just put an email that okay, I'm willing to join this course, and on this day I'm going to pay it. I will be pretty fine. Not a problem. Yes, so Anil, you will be getting a certificate. Don't worry, certificates are like this. I don't know whether I have anything here or not, but yeah. So I just show you how the certificates look like. So this is Pradeep, which is a defense guy, and we gave him a training. So this is how the certificates are going to look like. Can you see my screen? Yes, I'm sharing complete screen of mine. Shivam, placement assistance will be provided, but I cannot take a guarantee. Reason I will tell you. We did a GET round last week for Magna sitting. I will be very frank and open with you guys. We posted almost 25 resumes to Magna sitting from previous batches, from these batches, even from somebody from LinkedIn. We did that. Okay, so we are actually willing to assist every single one for job. That's what our intention is, to be frank, but it all depends on market. Okay, so I cannot guarantee you. Somebody who is guaranteeing is actually making a fraud of you. Okay, so I cannot guarantee. I will provide you certificate, I will provide you letters if you are doing it. I will do everything whatever is to be done for you to land up in a job. Getting my point? But I cannot commit. I will assist you for sure. I will assist you, don't worry. We have a team, HR team is there, Abhinav is there, Gaurav is there, Jaideep is there. I'm not alone. I'm an engineer, so I have a team. I have a team of 18 engineers who are working, and it's going. How is market is like a very lame question, Manish. Market is picking up. You should be ready. This is the best time to get recruited. Those who got recruitment at this time are like the highest demand recruiting happened right now. Okay. Aptitude training, Bhavesh, I will try to provide good point. As I said, for a full course, I will keep on adding the courses. You will keep on getting the courses, and you will get a free access. But a good point, we will do an aptitude training. What we do, I will tell you. We do a mock interview round for at least 2 or 3 times. Okay, so we do 2, 3 mock interviews, and that is something which will be done for you guys as well, not for level 1. Level 1 will do only one mock interview for everyone, but for level 2, level 3, yes, we are going to do a mock interview till you are confident or till we are confident. Okay, so I'm just putting this link to end my session, and everything whatever I have recorded I'm going to put in. Does placement drive happens? No, 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 no. Bhavesh, it's not the case. Placement happens whenever company needs it, whenever they are growing. So it's a misconception that placement happens only once in a while. Placement happens all across the year. Okay, so you are supposed to be ready for the placements. Level 1 is enough to get a GET job. I will say in that way. If you want to join in as a PGET or GET, it's enough, more than enough. Okay, but if you want to join in as an experienced guy, a better person, if you want to do a project, then it will be better to join all the courses. We can apply, there is no limit. We will keep you pushing with the resume. We are not a placement agency. There is no limit for placement assistance, Bhavesh. We'll assist you till you get a job. Mark my words. I am talking in front of a camera. Mark my words. I have never ever done this thing in last 7 years. Whenever you are going to get placed, our placement assistance stops. Till that time, we are going to assist you. Yeah, you can, Ritesh. Perfectly fine. You can do it, but you can just do. You can just join in for level 1. If you wish to join for level 2, level 3, you can do it after you get a job. Perfectly fine. Not a problem. Working in IE, so it will add. What is IE after this course, or I will industrial engineer, or what it is? What is IE, Shibam? Okay, so basically you will be treated as a fresher, to be frank. Okay, nobody should take it in a wrong way. You will be treated as a fresher because your relevant experience is zero in CA. Okay, and then you will have to restart your career as a CA guy for sure. Yes, that's a yes for me. Okay, any other questions, guys? May people say that market is down right now, so no recruitment. Yeah, that's correct. See, markets are, forget about pandemic. Markets are going to be ups and downs. Always it is going to be there. Are you ready for job? Are you ready as a subject matter expert? Are you ready to become a product engineer? That's the question you should ask yourself. It is always, yes, Lynn is right. It is always fluctuating. Why to worry about market every day? Are you skilled enough? Are you competent enough? Are you really focused on it? Ritesh, you say market is bad, but we got 3 offers last week for GET position in Magna City. Can you believe it? All our students got placed. All 3 are our students. So GETs are getting placed. We have interview schedule for experienced guys in next week for another Magna, which is Magna Closure. So there are continuous recruitments going on. You're not, yes, they are B guys. All of them were B. No one was MTech. All guys who got placed are B. Industry is not looking for just MTech guys in CA. They need a guy who can solve their problem. Are you getting my point, guys? Industry is looking for problem solvers, not somebody who is having a rubber stamp of AME or MTech. I did my MTech project and presently I'm working on Hypermesh. Level 2, you can join, but I will still suggest you to go through level 1. Reason being, you know basics of LS Dyna, but I will just talk to you, Dinesha. A better thing is, let me take uh, a small interview uh, and let me just understand, Dinesha, what you know about LS Dyna. Is it making sense? So this is my WhatsApp number. Uh, or one number. I just have one number, guys. So this is for everyone, 98817321144. So just ping me, we'll talk. MTech will have some advantage in some companies. Large organizations typically have that particular barrier. They want to screen because they have too many applications. Think in their shoes. Okay, so go in their shoes and they have 1,000 applications. How are they going to screen it? So they will put an MTech mark, then they will put an mark for CGPA, then all these things are going to happen. Okay, but you may plan like that. Jobs are not only with the large companies; they are also with the small companies, startups also, right? So Dinesha, we will work out a package for you. Don't worry. Okay? I'm supposed to help you guys, so I will help with full of my heart. Okay, so I think we are over with all the discussion, and I'm really very thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys still here in the meeting, and thanks a lot. Have a good night. Hope you join in. This is a no-brainer. Don't think too much. Just go for 18,999. Get all the courses free. What are the bonuses? They will be with you for lifetime. Skills are going to be with you. My words will be with you. My assistants will be with you. I will be happy to see you in the batch. Okay. See you then, guys. Have a good night. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. Uh, yes. Very good night. MTech from ordinary college, is there any advantage? No advantage. No advantage, Shubham. Just do this course, full course. It will be better than MTech. Mark my words. I'm a BE guy. I'm underqualified here, but still I'm doing. See, we have 8 students who are right now doing or taking my assistance in PhD. Yes. Welcome, Sonali. Welcome, Akash. Yes. See you then, guys. Shall I end the meeting? Have a good night. Bye. I'm ending it. Thanks, Manish. Yes. Bhavesh, I will be the person who is going to teach you everything. Okay. I will be the person to teach you everything. Ritesh, the packages are typically going to be 1.8 lakhs to 2.4 lakhs. It depends on company. But starting packages are always like that for GET or PGT. So if you are a PGT, you may get 2.2. Now it may just go for 1 or 2.0, something like that. But it will not be less than 1.8, and you should not expect it more than 2.4 or 3 max. Making sense, Ritesh? Yes, Zaid, you're supposed to join in. You missed earlier sessions. So you are going to start on 6th of October, right? Sheetal is also there. Sheetal also is going to join. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks guys for attending. It was pleasure meeting you and hope to see you in this session. Hope to see you in this session. It's a no-brainer. I'm telling you, nothing will be more valuable than this, and you will be getting too much more. You will be getting 20x than what you have paid for. Okay, it's like 1 month salary. You are going to get full package or full thing to be done. Okay. See you then, guys. Have a good night. Thanks again. Bless you. Take care. Be safe in the home. Attend the sessions. See you. Yes, all companies use LS Dyna across globe. Everyone uses LS Dyna. So starting from east to the west, everyone uses LS Dyna. Every company uses LS Dyna. Okay. So Ritesh, you can connect me on my WhatsApp number 98817321144 and ask as many questions as you wish to. I will be happy, but I'll just end this meeting now. See you then, guys. Bye.